What's up, guys? Welcome back to today's video. We're picking back up on the Colorado right where we left off in the last one. So as you guys seen in the last one, we did get the firewall and tunnel completely tack welded in and ready to go for the next step, which would be seam sealer and then also bed line to underneath. Although that's what kind of my game plan was to come out here to do, but then I remember when I came out here I had to add some additional support to this tunnel, and that's what I need to focus on right now, and then get into the seam sealer. My thought process at the moment is going to be to create a support that goes across the front of the tunnel here, midway through the tunnel, and then across where the seat bolts up as well, and make three major supports. So first step's going to be to make all these different sections, make the pieces of material to weld on, and then get them tacked in. We also ran out of gas before we got to finish up the bottom here, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the bottom all welded in as well while we're at it. That is how today's video is gonna start, so let's get into it. All right, so we got the first piece all tacked in. Now we got to go ahead and make the other two. I'll tell you what, that part took a lot longer than I wanted it to. I'm just glad because it did come out pretty strong. So you can't really tell, but the actual natural shape of it looks a lot better. So now we're gonna go ahead and move on to the next two parts. Finish up welding the bottom. It's a lot of work, to be honest. Running out of daylight. I'm gonna end up needing to get the light out here. But yeah, so far so good.
Look at that!
Not too fast.
Good Lord, it's almost like we know what we're doing around here, you know what I'm saying?
We don't, but
Don't tell nobody. Why are you so far zoomed in?
because I was just gonna do a fast clip and me welding it.
Oh, you're the one that edits, huh? Is this a time lapse?
No.
Oh, I hate whenever you do those time lapse things. You shouldn't be zoomed in. All the ladies watching want to see your ass while you're welding, bro.
There's not many ladies watching.
No, I know. It's like 98% dudes.
99% dudes. Alright guys, so we got the top support in and also the bottom support in. I almost slapped that is still hot. What I ended up doing was I bent it, and as you guys seen, whenever I was bending it, it was a struggle to get this material to actually bend, being this wide. We didn't have a problem with this because it's a lot skinnier, less mass for it to go ahead and bend. I ended up bending incorrectly. I just ran a slit down it, and then I just beveled it down until it fit properly, and then welded it in. I also went ahead and did some slits in it so I could hammer, so I can get the correct curvature. The front of the seat is going to be right here, and the back of the seat is going to be right here. So I want to add support in those areas because that's what's going to end up holding my weight while sitting in the truck. But yeah, so now we just have the one more piece down here on the bottom to go ahead and make, and I still have to weld those bottom things. I know I said it multiple times, but I have to weld those. Alright, so I got this piece tacked in just in a few spots at the moment. I want to show you guys how I worked these areas out, just for an example on this one. So in order to manipulate this piece of metal and to get it to bend without smashing it with a hammer and risking flexing this material, I end up running a slit. It's not going to go all the way through, but basically to where whenever I do hit it with a hammer, it'll bend. So what we're going to do is slit this one down, hammer it, and then slit the next one, and then hammer this one flat to where it's flush up against here. And we'll do that on both sides. All right, so now what I'll end up doing is going ahead and tacking here, and then with the heat of the tack, the metal will allow me to get a little bit more bend out of it. I'll get this section here to bend, tack, and then get this last section here, tack, and then I'll go ahead and close it all in. Alright guys, so we finished up all the welding and fabricating on the actual cab itself. If you were to have seen the way that this tunnel flexed before, even with it all the way tacked in with the firewall and everything like that, it still had a little bit of movement to it, but now this thing is like, this thing is solid. I am really tired. Tomorrow morning is Christmas Day, so I will be, for the most part, spending my whole day with family tomorrow. So I probably won't have that much time tomorrow to actually work on the truck. So what we'll do is we'll probably just pick up the day after Christmas and do the seam sealer. So if you guys are watching this, I know this will be a few days after Christmas. I want to say Merry Christmas to everyone, especially from the DB family. We want to thank you guys for all the support that you guys have shown us throughout the years, and also even now. I know we don't make as much Honda content as we did before. We still have love for Hondas, man, but there's just, it's just love for automotive industry in general for us. It just goes deep. So huge shout out to you guys yet again. And I'll see you on the next clip. What's up guys? So it's currently the day after Christmas and we're picking back up where we left off on the Colorado cab. So we finished welding in these 1/8 inch thick steel reinforcement plates, so now we can finally go ahead and move on to masking off all the seams where everything was welded, and getting ready to scuff everything and get it ready for putting on some seam sealer. So I picked up this seam sealer, and I got about like 8 of them, so hopefully that's going to be enough. We're gonna go through, get everything taped off, just because I want to tape it off so I could have nice crisp lines, because I'm gonna end up spreading it and making it look good. I'm gonna use the bottom as practice so that whenever I do get up to the firewall and do get inside the cab, it does look really good. Hopefully it comes out great, but we'll see as we go along, right? All right, so we got all of the sections masked off on both sides. Basically gives us a good square, a square pattern to follow. What I'm gonna end up doing is I'm gonna go ahead and cut off just a little bit the actual tip of the tube here, and then I'm gonna try to cram as much inside the crack all the way around as possible, go through and kind of spread it with my finger, and then I'll go back with a larger cut and actually soak it all the way in there, and then clean it all up and start to peel the tape. We got a lot of caulking to do and a lot of squeezing with your hand. I wish I had the electric one, because if I had the electric one, it wouldn't be no big deal, but it is what it is. So let's just get right into it, and yeah.
Damn, see, that came out pretty freaking clean.
Thanks, sir.
I like it.
I would have recorded for you guys, but it was drying really fast.
Yeah.
So I had to hurry up and get it off.
Yeah, so Braven kind of got a technique. So what the plan was to kind of go over it a little lightly, and then he's got gloves on, so he kind of push it into all the little crevices and everything, make sure to seal it up really good, and then come back and do kind of like a bead, like kind of think like as if you're welding, you know, just doing like a real heavy thick bead over it. I don't know, man, that might be pretty good. Or are you still thinking about doing a bead over it?
I don't know. I think I like it.
Yeah, it doesn't look terrible.
Yeah, once it's all
you know what, honestly, I think maybe like areas like this, like down here on the bottom,
yeah,
like this right here, do one of those thick beads over it. For the most part, I mean, I think that's good, especially in the firewall section.
I agree.
I mean, the seam sealer isn't the best thing in the world. Like, it doesn't look abnormal, you know?
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
For the firewall. Because from factory, you have seam sealer across all the seams, you know what I'm saying?
And that's kind of my thought process on going with seam sealer.
Yeah.
So that kind of looks a little factory still.
Yeah.
So that it doesn't, you know.
Well, you ought to stop making the line so straight then. You know, the factory, bro, that shit ain't straight.
That looks like this on the factory.
I know, it looks all screwed up.
Alright guys, so we got all of the seam sealer done on the bottom of the cab. So the next step is going to be to go ahead and scuff up the entire bottom and a little bit of the actual firewall itself. I'm thinking about going probably up to this line and down, and then up here. I want all this to be bed lined all the way through here, both sides, all the way bed lined. I think you give a little bit of contrast to the actual engine bay with that being bed lined. Whenever I do end up painting the engine bay white, I think I'll end up painting over the bed liner white, but then it'll have like a bed line look to it. I think it'll come out sick. I think it'll look pretty good. There's a few things that I want to do before I could get to bed line. So first things first, I need to go through and actually scuff up the entire bottom, get it ready for paint. I need to get these sections here, I need to buzz them down, and I need to paint these sections black and then let them dry where the actual cab bolts up to the frame. Doing that is going to allow me to mask it off, so whenever I bedline it, after I bedline it, I'll be able to pull that tape. It'll be black underneath there already, and then I won't have to worry about anything sitting in between the mounts that actually sit up against the frame right here. So that's next. And then as well as in this section here, I want to go ahead and I want to make off a block off plate for this hole here and weld that in, and then most likely seam seal it as well, and just get that ready to get painted as well. But there's, you know, like I said, there's a lot of like little things I have to do, but shouldn't take too long. I'm trying to go ahead and getting to spraying it today, hopefully, so that by tomorrow I can move on. I no longer have to work on the bottom of the cab anymore. So let's go ahead and get to work, and hopefully everything's just smooth sailing. Alright, so we got both sides buzzed all the way down, ready for paint. I went ahead and painted these little sections where the mounts actually sit up black, so that they could dry by the time I'm done masking everything off. I gotta mask off the ground, gotta mask off the sides of the cab, the top of the firewall, and also my dad's S10 before we could actually get to spraying. So alright, so we finally got to a point where all the masking is complete. I went ahead and put the masking over the painted sections on all 4 of those spots. Finished putting the plastic on the truck, and also my dad's. All the prep work is basically complete. The whole can. You think that's good? Do you think that's good?
Looked pretty good from the window.
Well, I wasn't gonna buy any primer. I was just gonna spray it. And he told me I needed primer. And then I was about to leave to buy primer, and then I told him I didn't want to buy primer.
You need to buy rubberized primer.
Well, I mean, I could have just bought regular primer.
That's like blinker fluid you're going to buy.
I wish I was on the blinker fluid state.
Tweaker! Well, good morning to you. It is now a brand new day, and we are out here to put some primer on Braven's underbody. On his undercarriage.
Undercarriage.
Yeah, I have a, this is a direct to metal, and it is a epoxy primer. So it's gonna seal this really well and make it to where no moisture or anything is gonna be able to get to the metal. It's gonna basically create a barrier. So we're gonna go ahead and coat this in the primer before he hits this with the bed liner, the underbody coating that he got. This good old shit right here, got this from Harbor Freight. How much was this again?
Like 30 bucks.
$30?
Yeah,
yeah, that definitely beats buying those damn kits, bro. Those kits are like 120, 150.
Yeah, I don't want to spend
Bam, $30 freaking dollars at Harbor Freight. And if you guys remember, this is what I covered the CRV with, was this same stuff right here. So Depending on how you spray it, it could be a really aggressive grit to it, or you can kind of get a fine grit to it. It all depends on how you spray it. But anyhow, we're gonna go ahead and get this thing primered really quick and move on.
We need a new stick, Braven. Go get a new stick. Where are the sticks at, Daddy?
In the cabinets in the booth. Alright, so what we got here is a cheap hopper. This is from not Home Depot, Harbor Freight. How much was this one?
It was like 20 bucks.
20 bucks. Yeah. So this is also the same thing that I use to spray the CRV with. This is what we're going to be spraying the bedliner out of. And no, don't listen to your Harbor Freight employees whenever they tell you that this will not work to spray bedliner.
That's what they were trying to tell me.
Apparently that's what they told Brave. So we just gotta dump some of their shit in here.
Don't get it all over me.
If I do get it all over you.
Buy me a new jacket. Oh my god, that's just thick.
It's like tar, bro. Alright, let me see how this thing sprays. So I think you're gonna want to kind of go a little light. Alright, so I learned from the CRV that if you try to cover, this stuff actually runs. Yeah, like this stuff will actually run. So
do multiple coats.
what I recommend is getting something like a consistency like this, and then let it sit for a good 10-15, and then go over it again, and just keep repeating that step until you get full coverage, so everything is black. You know, then it'll have a nice grittiness to it.
Yeah.
But it's not going to get all. I don't know if you remember some of the areas on the CRV.
I don't know, they didn't stand out.
Yeah, no, nobody noticed it but me. But what you did? Look at you! Look at that pupper! Look at your little jackets! Oh my goodness! Look at you! You got a pocket! Pupper 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 got a pocket! Tubby!
He said, but I ain't got no money in that pocket.
Tubby, what you gonna do with that ball, Tubby? Tubby, what you gonna do with that ball? What you gonna do with that ball? What you gonna do with that ball, Tubby? It's okay, I got this one. Mind fucked you, huh? Ow! That was full blown my finger. Douchebag. All right, we got one coat on there, and I'm trying to go a little thinner than what I did on my CRV. So this was one coat, just kind of getting it like introduced. This is our introductory coat, you know? You're getting a little bit of a sticky base for it to stick to. And then this right here is coming back and going over a little bit heavier. Yes, sir. Starting to get the look. So that's coat one. Coat two, we're not going to see any of the primer anymore. And then we'll let that flash over. And then probably just do a third coat on it for good measure to make sure the stuff is nice and thick. Nice and thick and strong.
This guy, look at this guy. Damn, son, what is that? 1985 or what? 1985, so we got the bed line all sprayed, basically just waiting for it to dry now. I'm gonna give it some time to dry so then I can pull off all the masking tape and get everything cleaned up and get this thing ready to actually go back down the correct way, so that I can move on to go ahead and putting the seam sealer on the inside on the tunnel and then also the firewall. I also need to make the cowl section. I need to make this cowl section and get that welded in and seam sealed as well. So then everything else will be ready to paint. Now everything else is just gonna go ahead and just get painted white. I haven't decided whether I'm gonna go ahead and paint this section white as well, just from here up, or if I'm just gonna paint where it's masked up white. But we'll figure that out once we get everything squared away on it. So yeah, I'm gonna pick up the camera in probably about an hour and a half after this has some time to dry, and we'll move on. So see you then. All right, so it's been about like an hour and a half. It is pretty much just dry to the touch, so I think that I'm just about ready to start peeling off all the masking off of it and get this thing ready to go back down on its belly.
It's not dry to the touch.
It is dry. That's dry, dude. What? Dude, don't get out of here with that. You had that on you. This came out sick.
Hell? Yeah, it came out pretty fire.
They could barely even tell because
like
the sun right behind.
Yeah, I told Braven we can paint this too.
Yeah.
We could paint it white, but he doesn't want to. He wants to leave it black.
No, yeah, I think I'm happy with it being black. Yep, I like it.
Came out pretty fire.
I love it. I'm ready to put it back on its belly so I can continue working on this thing. I got more stuff I gotta fab up. Hi. It probably insulated it some.
Yeah, for sure.
Probably got rid
of the tin sound.
Yeah. Once we get all the inside all done and everything too.
You got a couple tacks you gotta do.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That might smell horrible coming from the other side.
Yeah. No, I think it'll be fine.
Well, there it is. Gone forever. You'll never see it again. Boy, you better make this thing pop willies for as good as we made the bottom of this sumbitch. Right. You gotta stand it up, you know what I mean? So people can see it. Anyhow, Braven's got a lot more work he still has to do to the cab. You're over here celebrating being done. Boy, you ain't nowhere near done. But he's gotta build a panel for right here. So basically gonna close this off back and then close that side off. So then this will be all closed, and then he could, for the most part, make just like an aluminum piece that'll cover the two sides.
Yeah, I'll do that later. That's more of a beauty piece.
Yeah, so the main goal right now is just to get that closed off. He's got to touch up a couple little spots, I think, in here with some tacks, some welds, seam seal the inside, and I don't think you've decided yet if you want to bedline the floor, huh?
I haven't decided. If I did bedline it, I wouldn't do a really heavy coat.
Yeah, like this?
Like that.
You don't want the texture?
Yeah, it'd be a lighter coat. Or I may end up painting it like with that rubberized coat, rubberized sealant.
I say you just do the same thing, just, you know, we can just put it on thick. If you put it on heavy, like heavy, it will actually level out. I mean, it's still gonna have a texture to it, but it's not gonna be like a really like heavy grit like what we did down there.
Yeah.
But I know you're kind of wanting to put carpet in here at some point.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking about putting carpet, but I just haven't decided. I'll decide once the seam sealer is done.
Yeah.
Because if the seam sealer is super ugly, then I'm gonna probably end up bedlining it.
Yeah, the seam sealer is gonna be super ugly. You already know it is. The hell. But yeah, I'll do the same thing you did down there. Try to tape it off and just get everything good and in all the cracks and everything, and then peel it. And I don't know if you want to do a second layer on it or not, but Yeah, then we'll have to primer the inside as well. Anyhow, guys, that's pretty much it for Braven's video today. I'll go ahead and let him close it out since he started it. There you go.
Later, guys.